In this new segment of Advisor Revelations, the DPL team will discuss how to evaluate new solutions and address current challenges and the strategies that can help you grow your firm and AUM.
Welcome to the Advisor Revelations podcast. I'm Cam McCrae, one of the regional vice presidents here at DPL Financial Partners. Today, we'll explain how transitioning advisors can help move their clients into more improved, cost-efficient retirement income products, while also growing their firm and AUM through the Breakaway Accelerator Program. Joining us today is Alex Brueske, a financial advisor at B3 Wealth Strategies. Alex, thanks for taking time to speak with us today.
Thanks for having me on today, Cam.
Great. Before we begin, I want to remind our listeners to please subscribe to this podcast on your favorite streaming app for updates. If anything that we discussed today piques your interest, we encourage you to connect with a DPL consultant at our website. That is dplfp.com. All right, Alex, again, thanks for being here. Let's just start with a little bit of your background and not only yours, but also the firm B3 Wealth Strategies.
I grew up watching my dad be a financial advisor, and that really led me into this industry. And actually, one of my other brothers joined us as well, creating B3 Wealth Strategies. And that's kind of one of the unique things about our company is that we're kind of multi-generational advisors. So we really try and work with multi-generational planning for our clients. We even have a few families that are 4 generations. So today, I currently work with growing our new clients and developing relationships with them while maintaining and developing relationships with our existing clients. So if and when Scott does retire one day, they'll feel comfortable with Spencer and I. So right now, our team consists of 6 people, Scott, my brother Spencer, and myself, who are all the client-facing advisors. And then we have our Chief Compliance Officer, Tiffany, and support staff, Risha and Jess. And we're currently an RIA and use LPL as our custodian.
That's great. Thanks for sharing. And it's a great group to work with, the folks over at B3. I know that on my side of the table, have been very easy to work with. But you just mentioned LPL as a custodian. Obviously, I know that. Our listeners don't know that. But you all have recently made a transition. And I know our listeners understand that that happens a lot these days, transitioning to an independent firm. And not only is it happening a lot, it takes a lot of effort, planning, and requires support and processes to communicate these changes to clients. Can you kind of expound and tell that story to our listeners a little bit, kind of maybe, why the team over at B3 decided to break away and at the end of the day, kind of how you come to find DPL as a valuable partner for that transition?
We've really been in this phase of evolution, I would call it, not necessarily a transition, since 2016. So Scott was at our previous broker dealer for 34 years before we left. And so then in 2016, we left them and transitioned to LPL. And then in 2019, we actually went down the path of forming our own RIA, but continued to maintain a hybrid RIA and not RIA only. In our transition and evolution, we came to the conclusion that we need to always take and be evolving for what's best for the clients. So we looked at some other custodians outside of LPL, which really led us to an introduction with Cam and what DPL had to offer. We'd always kind of been looking for a solution like DPL, but never really found anything. And so once we had the initial meeting with Cam, he showed us our cost comparison, all the other tools that DPL had to offer. We were pretty much sold there on the spot. And I'm pretty sure Scott wanted to sign up with the membership fee right away. And one of the things that I felt was really different and why we chose DPL to run our annuity business through is I think that they're very focused on client solutions, where we met with wholesalers, they're very much more focused on their specific company's products. And then also too, he presented us the Breakaway Accelerator Program of being able to assume advisor of record on contracts that we couldn't 1035, which is a huge blessing to be able to keep everything in one place.
Yeah, I really like that term you used, evolution, Alex. That's a really good way to kind of describe the industry as a whole and kind of how it's progressed and kind of how advisors like, your team have kind of had to keep making changes. And I appreciate you bringing up the Breakaway Accelerator Program, and I do want to talk a little bit more about that for our listeners here. But I wanted to just ask a quick question about evolution and going from, a broker dealer to being a hybrid type advisor. What were some of the benefits you all saw, and kind of what was the last piece kind of holding you all back from just going fully independent and out of that hybrid model, if you will?
I think hindsight being 2020, we probably would have done it back in 2016 when we left Waddell and Reed and went to LPL. But I think that Scott it was just nerve wracking. You don't know what you don't know, and we were already making a transition that affected our clients. It could affect family and a lot of other things as well. So at that time, it felt like the hybrid was the right place to go. Eventually realizing when Tiffany joined the team that the fee-only RIA was the best solution for our clients.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, a little fear of the unknown, which hopefully the Breakaway Accelerator Program, or BAP for short, kind of what we call it internally here, can help out with that. And for our listeners, just to give a better understanding of what the Breakaway Accelerator Program is, it's great for transitioning or evolving advisors to do just that, keep evolving and be able to continue to serve their clients, block of annuity business. And for a little bit more detail, the way it tends to work is, the team here at DPL is going to be there to hold your hand along the way. But what we really like to do is just take a look at the entire block of annuity business. And where we can, we're going to do 1035 exchanges in situations where it's going to improve client outcomes to the more cost-efficient advisory commission-free solutions that I think our audience knows. But then it also benefits in that those situations where we can't, perform a 1035, whether it's because the contract's still in surrender, or maybe there's a benefit base that's much higher than a cash value and it just doesn't make sense for that client scenario. Well, at that point, DPL can become agent of record and allow the RIA team to still service that and still own that relationship at the end of the day, to just serve their clients and have the peace of mind that they're not leaving anything behind at the broker dealer. So Alex, I wanted to also dive in a little bit about your all's experience with the Breakaway Accelerator Program, and particularly what you all find valuable during that transition from not only an operational standpoint, but maybe some of the proposal standpoint as well, and kind of what it was like working through that process, and at the end of the day, what it was like working with your end clients.
We really try to, at each kind of phase of our evolution, focus on the clients that it was affected. So in this one, we really spent a lot of time with our annuity clients. And what we did first was we had a few initial meetings with Cam and got the information, got the solutions for the clients of where we were probably going to make those changes. And then we blocked off a 3-week period and had 30-minute meetings with all of those clients that were affected to go through the annuity comparison tool, talk about the cost savings, what the transition of their annuity would look like. And then Spencer and myself would fill out the intake form, get it over to Cam and his team, and they would get the paperwork out to the client. And one of the things that was super nice was everything was e-signable. We've been in a world where we've had to always have paperwork, both for the annuity carrier and then the LPL all had to be paper, which was a nightmare for clients. I will say one of the more unique things that's kind of the sticking point for clients was the advisor of record change, and not because they objected to it, but because they just didn't understand what it meant, and with the lack of industry knowledge. So that was a little more hand-holding than I thought was going to be.
Right. That makes sense. And then outside of that, for the clients that were 1035 eligible, were they pretty perceptive to a 1035 exchange?
Yeah, I don't think we had one objection for a client at all. When you have the cost comparison, there's really no reason why you wouldn't make those changes to save some money on your contract.
Exactly. That's kind of what we see here. So obviously, going through the Breakaway Accelerator Program is a very seamless process, but we also encourage advisors to take advantage of our whole suite of tools and value add that we have, including our insurance desk and the other just commission-free solutions that make sense beyond 1035 exchanges. It's easy to get through a block of business, an annuity review that takes up time, and you're doing the right thing for the client. It takes up time, but then also just be kind of like, oh well, where else? We're done with annuities. No, where else do these commission-free solutions fit now that we are independent and we are an RIA firm? Alex, have you all worked with DPL outside of just the Breakaway Accelerator Program, or have you all found other solutions inside of the DPL universe that makes sense for your clients?
We have used a few of the kind of the VUL review, and I think we've done one through there where we have a fee-based VUL for a client. Those have always been kind of a difficult. We haven't done a lot of insurance business like that, but they were really helpful in looking at different policies, kind of what the client needs, and this specific client was how much they could borrow against their policy, and it was super easy to get that in place.
Yeah. So, of course, Alex, it sounds like, going through the Breakaway Accelerator Program has been a seamless process. But I also think it's important for our listeners to understand that, DPL is not a one-trick pony, right? It's a great introduction to the Breakaway Accelerator Program, is a great introduction to commission-free solutions and moving over a block of business. But to remain a true fiduciary, we want to arm you with multiple tools. Is there any other, aspects of DPL or avenues you've gone down as a firm outside of the Breakaway Accelerator Program?
Yeah, we've actually used some of our clients that have VUL contracts. It's not a lot, but they maybe have had them for a while, and we've kind of explored that with DPL and having those be reviewed. And much like the annuity review, they are looking for solutions that meet the client's needs. And in this client's case, they needed to be able to borrow a larger amount against their VUL policy. And working with them was a seamless process to get that moved over as well to a fee-based VUL policy.
That's great. Yeah, that would be help from our life desk there as well. So not just annuities, but also life. And then what about from outside of the 1035 exchanges or agent of record changes through the BAP Accelerator Program, clients that didn't own existing annuities, have you all been able to find any solutions that fit in the from a commission-free annuity standpoint that fit any client scenarios for you all?
Oh, most definitely. Kind of going back to 2021, Washington State had a long-term care payroll tax that was instituted on all workers. So we spent much of that year working through our client's decision on whether they can buy their own long-term care policy and opt out of the tax, or they have to start paying the tax. And spending so much time in this long-term care world for 18 months, we really found that there was kind of two objections that clients had to traditional long-term care, which is the cost and never using the benefit, and then the ability to not qualify due to health issues with underwriting. And so this kind of led us to one of the solutions that Cam mentioned, where a product provided guaranteed income, which most of these people needed some sort of a guaranteed income in their retirement story, but also it allowed for the income, the health activated income multiplier, to increase their monthly guaranteed income, basically double it for 5 years. And this has just resonated with so many clients because it addresses their concerns, and it also doesn't have the underwriting like traditional long-term care does. And we've had a number of clients want to start using this annuity because of that.
Great. That's a great story, Alex. And I think it can be very eye-opening for our listeners out there. To tie it back to the fear of the unknown, knowing that, you can partner, and there's partners out there like DPL that can help transitioning or evolving firms, still have access to solutions like retirement income or health activated multipliers, or even commission-free VULs to help improve client outcomes in an ever-changing industry. That was a great story, Alex. Alex, as we wrap up here, I'd just like to say I really appreciated your partnership, B3 Wealth Strategies partnership, and continue to I look forward to continue to work with you all on your journey as a firm. Maybe one day you'll get your father out of there, and maybe he'll be able to take on some of the retirement income stories we talk about and enjoy that himself. But thanks for being here. Any closing remarks before we hop off here?
No, I would just reiterate that you guys have been a pleasure to work with. You care about your advisors, you care about the advisors' clients, and that's always nice to see, and have made the process extremely smooth and easy.
Thanks again for that, Alex, and thanks for your time today. We know you're busy, a growing firm. Thanks to all our listeners for being with us today. And again, don't forget, please connect with us at dplfp.com and subscribe for more episodes anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Thanks for watching. Visit dplfp.com to learn how we can work with advisors like you. And please, for more updates, subscribe to this channel.